Coming up from Poinciana, Florida to Cornwall in the United Kingdom, we take your questions and emails. Coming up next. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 579 for the week of February 26th, 2013. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com, experts in helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. One great reason to choose Dreams is that most of our agents are stay-at-home moms who are working hard to make money and take care of their kids so our economy can grow and America can be strong and prosperous. So if you don't book with Dreams, it means you're against mothers and against America. DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. Saving America, one vacation at a time. Which makes John Captain America. I want to see him in the bodysuit.
Oh, yeah. Yikes.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Diz Unplugged. Coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, John Magi, Kevin Close, Julie Martin, and Walter Eccles. Back in the production nook, our producer, Dustin West, along with Sean Thompson and Craig Williams. For the first time in a while, we are going to do one of our voicemail and email shows, and decided to get back to this as a semi-regular segment. We used to do it every week, and we stopped doing it for a while and decided to bring it back, do it once a month. And everybody whose email and voicemail we're about to say or play are going to get a Diz Unplugged t-shirt or a Diz Unplugged pin and lanyard, their choice. And they're going to be entered in a random drawing that we will do the end of next month for a shot at the Prizematron. And if you have any questions or comments you'd like to send in, podcast@DizUnplugged.com is the email address, or you can give us a call toll-free in the U.S., 1-877-310-9662. You can also record a voicemail on your smartphone and email it to us, and the sound quality of that is excellent usually, so that's actually what we prefer. So if you want to do that, saves you having to dial the phone because that's so much work. But we're going to get right to it, and we're going to go over to Walter for the first email.
Okay, Don DeSico from Poinciana, Florida says, "Hello, team. I've been a listener since the beginning, and thanks for all that you do. This is more of a comment than a question. Watching the video of Teresa and Kathy at Habit Heroes brought back memories of Cart Cam or Send Bob to the Parks. Now that you're doing the fabulous video segments, I would love to send Teresa and Kathy to the parks. It's been wonderful to be part of the journey and the evolution of the podcast. I see amazing things on the horizon. It just keeps getting better. Congratulations on all your successes. It's well deserved."
That's very nice.
I'd like
Very
to see
nice.
send Teresa to work.
Oh, stop
Why
it.
would they do that?
Stop it. I agree with the sentiment of, doing something with Kathy and Teresa, kind of like that. However, that was a Bob segment. And that was one of the things that I decided to retire when Bob passed away. That was quintessential Bob, probably one of the best segments, in my opinion, we ever did. It was probably, I think, the first video segment we ever did was a Send Bob to the Parks for Star Wars weekends.
Oh, that was wild, yeah.
And we'll put a link to that on the show notes page as well. Sean's loving me today because I'm throwing in all these extra. Oh, put a link to that in the show notes page. He's like, it's not in the script.
I'm taking notes, don't worry.
All right. And
it would be unfair to try and recreate that.
And you will also get a chance to see the difference in production quality when I was doing the videos and now that Dustin is doing the videos. But
Go ahead.
But we actually have we do have plans. I mean, there are a number of things in the parks that we plan for Teresa and Kathy to do. I got to tell you that the segments that we've done with them, the one in the Welcome Center with the decorating your stateroom door,
I really like that.
That was
and
fantastic.
the Habit Heroes have been some of my favorites. And the two of them just That chemistry is natural. That chemistry between them, they are such good friends.
The Lucy and Ethel. They are our Lucy and Ethel.
But in
Lucy and Ethel, the podcast.
But not, look, they're not clowns though.
No, not at all.
And this is
Chemistry.
The chemistry is just in that regard, I would say yes. And I really love the way their personalities come out when we do these things.
You can see Kathy in the very first one. She was a little shy. Teresa sort of took the lead, but she has more of a personality where, to be a leader. And I could tell Kathy was holding back just a little. And as the segment went on, I could see her getting more and more
comfortable. Yeah, well, look, it's this is new for all of us. I mean, being on camera and doing this stuff, but I think what they've done and the response and the feedback we've gotten from it has been fantastic. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun producing those segments and working with them on that. And they're coming up with ideas. They're coming up with some great ideas. You are definitely going to see more of these in the future. I appreciate your writing in, Dawn. Thanks very much.
That was nice.
Let's go back to Dustin with a voicemail.
Yes, we have a voicemail from Stephen Gittler, who has an unusual story for us. So let's go ahead and play that.
Hi everyone, this is Steve from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Disney Steve on the boards. My wife and I are looking forward to meeting all of you at the New Jersey Diz Meet in April. So we're excited about that. The reason I'm calling today is that even though you decided not to do the show about the strangest things we've seen at Disney World, I thought I would share my story anyway. So here it is. We were in Epcot one day a number of years ago and had just come out of the Living Seas. And off to the side, we see a small boy about 3 or 4 years old standing on the grassy slope with his pants down, urinating on the lawn, while his father stands next to him, holding him up and helping him. And the really strange part was that off to the side on the sidewalk was his mother videotaping the whole performance. I thought it was a rather odd thing to be doing, especially the videotaping part. I can just imagine showing those home movies when they got back home to their family. I'm sure they'd all be very proud. But you never know what you're going to run across when you're in the parks. So that's my strange Disney World story. I hope you enjoy it. And again, we're looking forward to meeting you all in New Jersey in April. Keep up the great work. I love the new format and the videos. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, this is actually not the first time I've heard of something like this. I actually, when I used to work at Animal Kingdom, there's all these grassy areas like the quote-unquote jungle that you can go into, and kids are not supposed to go in there. And for some reason, parents, and I don't know where these families are from or if it's a cultural thing, or I'm not sure, but they don't seem to have a problem with their children just going to a tree and doing that. Now, I've never seen anybody videotape anything like that. That's the unusual part in this story.
Yeah, there's a fine line between letting your kid go to the bathroom in public and going to prison for it.
So, Dustin, is that how you got inspired when people were taking video of you?
Wow.
What? Is that inappropriate?
It might be.
A little bit.
A little bit.
It could be.
Oh, gosh.
I just
Save that for your own backyard, people.
Okay.
Seriously, not at Disney.
That's a little bit too much leeway, too.
Well, if you have
Inside.
a fence. I grew up in the country, and I did have a brother who refused to go to the bathroom, so that's how he was potty trained. He would just pee right off the front porch. Not going to say names, because I don't want to embarrass either brother that I have.
But it's narrowed down. You have a 50-50 shot of picking which one of Julie's brothers.
Wait a minute. I'm guessing the fireman.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, now we know. All right. Well, thank you very much for that voicemail, Steve. John.
All right. Mine is from Vicky Rowe of St. Austell, Cornwall, UK. I'm tired already.
Took a lot out of it.
Do you want me to hold your head up?
So long. Following on from the item on rude guests, I was really annoyed by a family in City Hall in Magic Kingdom. We were waiting to speak to a cast member on our first day to get my husband's guest assistance card. He's quadriplegic and needs to use an entrance without stairs. The family in front of me were so rude and demanding front-of-the-line access. As much as the poor cast member tried to explain that's not how it really worked, they didn't get it. We live by the motto that we would be happy to wait twice the time as long as we actually get to ride. Nowhere in the UK is half as disabled friendly as Disney. Amen.
That's the truth. Yeah, now, just for those who aren't aware that a few weeks ago we had put a call out for emails and voicemails about strangest things you've ever seen in the parks and experience with rude guests. And we just didn't get enough responses to warrant doing a show on that. So that's why I kind of folded some of the ones we received into this. But
I have something to say about this.
Okay.
I would like anybody who thinks that someone who is looking to use a disabled vehicle, an ECV, a wheelchair, a guest assistance card, please give it a shot. Just so you can see how much easier it really is. Many of the rides that you get a guest assistance card, the guest assistance card is for people who, for whatever reason, cannot wait in line. It allows you to take a child with autism out of line. It allows you to, for someone who can't stand, it's not front of the line access. The rest of your party can wait in the line. It's to help people be able to ride the rides. Most of the time when you're in an ECV or a wheelchair, you can't get in every car on the ride. You have to wait for the accessible ride, which means that it could have just passed you and you have to wait for everybody else to get on ahead of you. Mm-hmm. If you think this is so easy, don't back out. Go run a wheelchair. Go through the Magic Kingdom for the day. Have someone push you through the Magic Kingdom and tell me what a good time you had. I'm tired of hearing about this. I don't care if you have to wait longer because someone in a wheelchair got on the bus. I just don't care. Don't go. Stop whining about it and trade places with the person in the wheelchair and see if you really think it's that much easier. Mm-hmm. I think people who make these disgusting comments on the Diz boards and any place else should pretty much rot. Your comments are untoward, unfriendly, unhealthy, and you need to put your money where your mouth is. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I like the motto that they live by. I think that's an excellent way to look at visiting a theme park.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for saying that, Kevin. I think it needs to be said repeatedly. And thank you, Vicky, for sending in that email. I have the next one, and I don't know, this person didn't really leave a name, but from Burlington, Vermont. I was listening to your FastPass Plus podcast and had to take exception to your expressed thoughts. This is aimed at me. About those staying at deluxe resorts should be entitled to more fast passes based on their resort expenditure. I feel compelled to remind you that everyone is paying the same money for their tickets, or essentially anyway. Resort accommodation levels should never be figured into that system, and I stay at deluxes too. Well, I appreciate your comments and your feedback, and I'm not saying they should. I'm saying they could. And I wouldn't particularly have a problem with that. If someone who's staying at a deluxe resort, look, when you spend more money, and yes, the ticket prices are all the same, I understand that, and everybody has same access, but these are all owned by Disney. The resorts and the theme parks kind of go hand in hand. It's all part of the experience. And yeah, if you're going to spend a certain amount of money, I don't think they do it just for people at deluxes. My thought was that it might be something they perk concierge guests with. You're not going to know if somebody is a concierge guest. They're not going to be walking around with a big concierge guest hat on. I think when Disney needs to find ways to increase, they don't have problems filling the All-Stars. They don't have problems filling Pop Century. They're not having any problems filling Art of Animation right now. But there are times where they do have problems filling the deluxes, and this may be something they go to. That was my point. And if they do go to it, I don't particularly have a problem with that.
I have an easier way. Bring the price down by $100 a night.
Or that. or that.
This isn't science. I mean, just if you're not filling them, it's because people don't think they're worth the money.
Well, what about, I mean, I think that this opens up a whole different thing for Disney to do for incentives for not busy times of year. If you want to fill that second week in September, you know what? Give everybody extra fast passes.
So like similar to what Universal does, if you stay at their on-site, you get front of the line access, or?
Yeah, nobody seems to have a problem with that. Well, what we were talking about, this is a few weeks ago, what we were talking about on the show is what Disney might do, where they could possibly go with FastPass Plus.
Right, okay.
And that one of the things that we speculated on, because we'd heard this rumor years ago, that they might start offering special fast passes to people staying in concierge or at deluxe resorts. And my speculation was that that could have been around the time they started working on MyMagic Plus and the FastPass Plus system, and that maybe what we're going to see as this rolls out after it gets established is that they might start offering additional FastPass Pluses to deluxe guests, deluxe hotel guests, or concierge guests. And some people vehemently disagreed with me on that, okay, that's fine. I respect your opinion. I just don't share it. I think that when you spend a certain amount of money, there's nothing wrong with getting more perks. There's nothing wrong with getting more perks, and there's nothing wrong with Disney giving you perks inside the theme parks as part of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's like, I don't know. I just, that's my personal opinion. And I respect that other people see it differently. It's just how I see it.
I think I wasn't there for the conversation. I wish I was, because I have a lot of opinions on FastPass Plus. But I think part of the problem is something Disney's done, and that they do quite a bit, is that there's a great deal of unknown now. There's a great deal of speculation about how is this really going to work and how is it going to be implemented. So there's all these things going on out there. Well, that means that I'm going to have less fast passes, or I'm not going to be able to get on my ride. So I think Disney's fault has become not educating people about it.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think people are starting to think that it's going to be like the Titanic, that there's going to be steerage class on rides.
Right.
That you're going to get on the lifeboat first. And if you're staying at the Pop Century, you're behind the gate when the boat sinks.
God, I love you.
I got to tell you that
I love you. I love you.
That's
I
a really
love
awesome
you.
comparison.
It's
That is
like,
fantastic.
calm down.
Steerage class.
Oh, you got to sit in the back of the Small World boat.
I built you a nice ride, Rose. Victor Garber, also gay. Just wanted to point that out.
He used to. There was a man who worked at the Contemporary in valet parking, and every time we would pull in, one of us would yell, "Oh, look, there's Victor Garber." That segued to absolutely nothing.
Right.
Cut to Pete.
You're up next.
Oh, I'm up next. Cut
That's
to me.
right. Cut to Kevin.
I wasn't ready. Hang on just a second. Let me get back. All right. You all complain that your emails were wrong.
Yours is.
Mine is from Marcy Smith, and Marcy has written me a novel.
It's an entire page.
It was the best of times. It was the worst. All right. Marcy is M. Jacqueline on the boards, and I'm sure she's assuming that I'm joking with her. She should be. I don't know the answer to the first one, so you guys are going to have to help me. I was assigned this as I walked in today. We have a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise booked on the Fantasy in October. We have 4 adults and 2 children on our party, so we plan to take a town car or limo to the port and had wanted to use the DCL transportation back to Orlando International on the day we return home in order to take advantage of the onboard airline check-in. Unfortunately, I just found out that the only flights available out of Orlando going back home are after 7 p.m. Okay, Marcy, you need a better travel agent.
Pray to God she's not a Dreams client.
we can't adjust the airline schedules, no matter how hard we try. If we do this, this will mean we'll probably end up at Orlando Airport at 10:30 in the morning and have to sit around at the airport all day until 7 p.m. Is there any way to use the onboard airline check-in and not use the DCL bus transportation back to the airport? We would really like to use this service because we have 2 small children that use double stroller and lots of bags. So the onboard airline check-in would be very helpful. What do you suggest? Would it make sense to take DCL transportation just to be able to use the online airline board check-in? Or rent a car when we get back to Orlando so we don't have to be stuck there all day. I live in Orlando. I've never been on a Disney cruise where I did an online airline board-in check-in.
No, I understand what she's talking about. This is basically in terms of handling the strollers and the luggage and not having to lug it around with them all day. It's first of all, the nice thing about Orlando International is there's a lot there. I mean, there's a lot of stores and stuff there. You can also take a room for the day at the Hyatt, and chill out there. But I think you have to.
The hassle of renting a car. Because she's saying once they get to MCO that they would rent a car so they weren't stuck there all day. I mean, the car rentals are not at the airport. You have to take a shuttle from the airport to wherever your rental car is. And then worry about gassing it back up and then taking that car back to the rental car place and then shuttling back over to the airport with your 2 small children.
I think
renting a room.
I really think you're stuck at the airport.
Yeah.
You're stuck at the airport.
Or look for a different flight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long day. There is stuff to do at the airport, and there's places to sit. But if you're getting there, you're going to spend 6 hours in the airport.
Yeah,
you can also go to the Welcome Center in Walter or watch your luggage, and I'll watch your kids.
There you go.
How good
the day that I'm off.
How good are they making baskets?
Can they wrap candy?
Because I also thought about, I don't know how old her children are. She didn't specify.
No, she didn't.
I mean, whether they take naps during the day. I mean, for myself, if this were me, I would seriously consider getting the room.
The hotel room sounded like a good option. Yeah.
So that you would have somewhere to go with them and let them relax or do whatever.
And there's even, the hotel has a pool, I understand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just making stuff
on top of the airport?
I think that's a fountain.
I think
there's a fountain out front.
That's what I meant. It has a fountain. All right, chapter 2 of Marcy's email. I hope it doesn't involve onboard airline check-in. I really do. My husband and I are thinking about booking an ABD trip for our family of 4 in 2014 or 15. My youngest child will be 5 or 6 when we go, depending on the dates. We'd like to start with one of the trips here in the U.S. and then do another when the kids are older and out of the country. Oh, wait. Let me read that again. That doesn't make sense. We'd like to do another when the kids are older where we go out of the country. My question is, I see that many of the adventures include things like horseback riding, whitewater rafting, and other activities that my youngest might not be able to do. Does ABD offer alternative activities for families with young children? Also, I saw that there is an available Backstage Magic trip for President's Week next February. This date would be perfect for us because our daughter has the entire week off from school. Are you considering adding any Backstage Magic trips with the podcast team in 2014? As much as we'd love to book it, my husband and I would both feel more comfortable going on an ABD trip with people we feel like we know, even though we really don't know. It feels like we do because you come into our homes.
I have never been in your house, woman.
Okay, Marcy, let's take this apart. Let's do this in pieces. Yes, we're thinking of adding a couple of Adventures by Disney Backstage Magics in 2014. Disney has not announced, or ABD has not announced their 2014 dates yet. Our dates for 2013 are already set in stone and full.
I think we can say we will guarantee 2 trips.
But we don't have dates or rates.
Right, for Backstage Magic.
Yeah. We are definitely going to do at least 2 next year.
Right.
And, we don't have any other information.
We don't have any information. They haven't told us what they are yet.
Right.
Or what the dates are. The next part of your question, is there alternative activities for kids? ABD is terrific at handling children. As a matter of fact, John and I went on a trip to Italy where your choice was adults were supposed to go to a wine tasting and kids could go to...
A wine tasting.
A wine serving.
Okay, I just snorted. Kids were going to a gelato tasting. Well, John and I and a couple of the adults decided that sounded like entirely more fun. We're not big on wine, so we went to the gelato tasting. There's always
and then pushed all the children out of the way and took their gelato.
We took their spoons. That made it easier. Yes, there's always an alternative activity. I also want people to know, I get this question a lot when people are discussing booking a trip. It's not written anywhere that you have to participate in any activity.
Correct.
I have been to London on the London and Paris trip twice, and I have never been to Versailles. I would not go horseback riding. I would not go whitewater rafting. These are there's a bicycle ride in Germany that I have no intention of doing. I want to be able to walk the next day. So there's always an alternative. There's always something else to do. So if your children cannot participate in the activity, ABD will have something planned for them. And I can't always tell you what it is because they kind of work on the fly at times. They might find out at the last minute that there's someone in the group who doesn't want to participate. So all of a sudden that activity, the alternative activity changes, or weather is inclement, and everybody's activity changes. But they're very good about accommodating everybody on the trip with something to do.
Always. And, you know, look, I've done, what am I on, 13, 14 ABDs? And there have been activities, especially like, you know, when we did the Southwest Splendors, even in Australia, there were activities that I wasn't interested in, you know, and they always work around that. They always work around that. And especially with kids, I tell you, just vacationing with Adventures by Disney with children, I mean, you basically have 2 full-time babysitters.
The other phenomenon I've noticed is that even when there are not specialized activities for children, you not only have 2 full-time guides who are very aware of your children, however many adults are on the trip, you have that many other pairs of eyes.
That's true. That's true.
And it's not like anybody's been assigned watching your kids. That really leads me into what I was going to say. You talk about it would be more fun to go with people you sort of know. I find one of the hardest things to sell anybody on is the part of your trip where you're going to Avon's calling. The part of your trip where you're going to travel with a group of people that you may or may not know, but 2 days in, you're already fast friends.
Yeah.
I think the hardest person I ever had to sell was Kathy Whirling. She told me she wasn't going to make friends with anybody.
I would have thought it would have been Pete, but no. But when Pete and I show up at things, we're just like, we got to go see the new people, and we don't like new people, and we try to avoid them. We'll sit somewhere far away.
What's wrong with you? Did you catch Johnson?
No, until we have to, and then once you get there,
I'm from New Jersey, woman. This is how we are.
They're all very nice, but it takes a while to warm up to that. You wouldn't think it'd be as easy.
And by the end of the trip, you love everybody.
I still get Christmas cards from folks that I went on a trip with in 2006. That being said, I'm biased. There's nothing like a Diz exclusive trip. It's welcoming and warm, and you get up in the morning knowing that no matter what, you're going to have somebody to sit with at lunch, and if you wanted to go to dinner, there's somebody to go to dinner with, and if you want to go stroll off on your own, that's okay too, that there will be people who will be there when you get back. It's great fun traveling with your soon-to-be friends. So I hope I've answered your question.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Marcy. Thank you, Kevin. Let's go over to Julie.
Mine's from Eric Racer in Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Woohoo! It's appropriate.
I just finished watching the Girls Only show. Ladies Only show. And I loved it. It was fun and very informative. I would love to see these ladies have a ladies only show once a month. And let's talk about looking natural. They were sitting there having a conversation among friends, not giving any thought to the cameras. Once again, I loved, all caps, the show. Thank you, Eric. Well, thank you, Eric. We had a lot of fun doing it. We're actually trying to plan the next show and what we're going to do because we'll have Leah here in town. So it'll be really nice maybe to go out into the parks, the 4 of us, and get into some trouble. Not real trouble, but, you know, just have some fun together.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks very much for that, Eric. Sean, you have a voicemail.
Yeah, so next up we have a voicemail from Lori Ruby, and I just want to preface it by saying that this is completely unrelated to my recent stay at Wilderness Lodge.
Okay.
Hi, Pete. I'm responding to your Facebook post about the strangest thing I've ever seen at Disney World. One year we were staying at Wilderness Lodge, and we were in the Bear's Face area and sitting out on the balcony, and on the right-hand wing, all of a sudden we noticed a man come out onto the balcony buck naked. I'm assuming he was putting a bathing suit or something on the chair to dry, and I guess he didn't think anyone else would notice him. But I have to say that was very strange to see a naked man on the balcony. My email is...
Well, thank you for that. We forgot to edit out her email address, so we had to make sure we cut her off before we sent her email address out to the world. Thank you for that, Lori.
I would have been horrified to walk out with my coffee and be like, "Oh, hello."
You do have to check it out. I mean, I'm like naked boy, but you look. If someone can see me, then you don't do it. You know.
Or in your case, you just don't care.
But this is not Mardi Gras. Okay, if I'm on Bourbon Street, I expect to see something like that up on a balcony or out on the street. Not at Disney.
Have you ever seen that though, where people they lose themselves and they forget that there's people like right there looking at your balcony and they do things. I've seen that.
And I like how Sean had a I like how Sean had a preface that this was not related to my recent stay at the Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, I was a lot more careful than that guy.
Well, you know, Sean
Were you on your balcony, Quovanzane?
Little cue.
It wasn't Sean because this man was hanging up his underwear and Sean doesn't wear any, so we knew that it wasn't.
Okay, thank you for that, Lori.
Now commando touring means something else.
And we're going to move over to Walter.
I like how she was all up in the bear's face. She said, I was in the bear's face. So he was all street about it. What?
She didn't say she was up in the grill.
Oh, she was.
All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Walter.
This is Candy Sonnenberg from Huntingdon, Pennsylvania. Hi, podcast team. I dealt what I consider a rude behavior at the park with sarcastic kindness. I waited politely in line to add my child's attraction picture to my photo pass. I was finally next when a gentleman, she has in quotation marks, just cut the whole line and went to the counter. I made eye contact, then politely thanked him for jumping ahead of me and reminding him that I was on vacation and my time was my own and that it was her own time and that her time does have value. He was sort of speechless. I think he was foreign. He was feigning a foreign language. I smiled and gestured to him to continue his photo purchase. I was mad, yet at the same time I was on vacation and wasn't willing to let a moron ruin my day. Love you guys. Have a great week. Thanks, Candy. Actually, what she's saying makes a lot of sense because sometimes you see people do incredibly stupid things and it comes down to, are you going to let them ruin your day? Or are you just going to, you have no control over what someone else does.
Well, look, you have three options when something like this happens. You can not say anything at all and let them get away with it.
But you shouldn't.
You can be like me, where you say something and it's usually not pleasant. Or actually
she did the best
do what
thing.
Candy did and kind of make a, somewhat passive-aggressive statement. You're not being obnoxious, but you're letting the guy know, I'm calling you out on what you did. And I'll have to try that sometime. This is, I don't...
Just get the White Rabbit to take him out.
Yeah, really, or that. But it's, for me, when I think about rude people at the park, my head goes right to parades. The parade situation, and the people that scope out their spot an hour or so before a parade.
Waiting patiently, and then someone shows up 3 seconds before it starts and stands there knowing the cast member is going to ask you to back up because they can't be...
Oh, Walter's a little bitter.
No, it happened to us before. And they told me and Pete to back up, and we're just like, we're not moving. And the guy's like, you have to back up. And Pete and I were just like, we told the cast member, we are not moving. We've been here 45 minutes. They just showed up 3 seconds ago. We have no intentions of moving. So the cast member actually got them and had to take them somewhere else. But we're just like, that's not going to happen. I'm telling you now. If a car run over this family, I don't care. We're not moving.
My standing rule is that if I see somebody behind me that has small kids, I'm going to let the kids stand in front of me. Kids aren't going to block my view unless I'm like filming and I've got a tripod set up and I can't. But short of that, I've got no problem letting the kids stand in front of me. Dad or mom is going to have to stay where they are.
Corey and I always sit on either side of their stroller because Ferris and Finley sit side by side in their double. And we always go about 45 minutes ahead of time and feed them popcorn and get them to wait. And usually that we have a family who will come up behind us. And the reason Corey and I do sit on the sides is so that if there is a family who comes behind us, their children can see over our stroller. You know, like it was a teenager.
That's smart.
And she's like, is it okay if my daughter stands here? And I was like, of course it's okay. You know, no problem. Just
Right, exactly.
Popcorn.
I mean, there's no reason. I think some people get very territorial about, you know, the parade spot. And I understand that, especially, you know, you've been standing there for an hour. And yeah, the people who show up 3 minutes before you, before the parade starts, no, I don't think you should be giving them a lot of consideration. It's their fault they weren't there. But, you know, I've seen people like just block children from seeing a parade. Yeah. And, you know, look, it's not the kids' fault that their parents didn't plan. And, you know, I don't feel
common sense has got to take over. You know, if it's a kid, they can stand in front of you. It's not going to block their parade. And it's a child, you know, like you said, it's not their fault. The parents didn't plan ahead. So why would you take it out on a child? That doesn't make sense. So.
Well, thank you for sending that in, Candy. I have the next one from Leslie Sawhook in Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, Pete and team. I'm loving your new video format. We actually paid for Xbox Gold so we can stream it and watch it at night on our TV on Tuesdays like you are on prime time. That's a scary thought. I am drawn to your decor and find myself studying it as you are talking. By decor, she means my jewelry. I think I see Bob, you see dead people, in a framed picture behind you, Pete, and possibly the wine glass you received at Le Cellier on New Year's. Is it possible for you to take time on an episode to explain some of what we are seeing around the room, where you got it, importance of it, etc.? Again, thanks so much for all you do. Love, love, love this new format, guys. Keep up the great work, Leslie. Well, thank you very much for that, Leslie. We appreciate it.
Nice.
I don't mind. Am I going to screw you up if I move this?
What, the microphone?
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I don't mind, if you don't mind me turning my back to you for a second, telling you a few things that are back here. That is up here in the corner. That is a picture of Bob, and that is also Bob's microphone that he used when he was on the show, along with his ID tag. I think that was from the first Dismeet that we did at the Swan Dolphin. I'm pretty sure that's what that's from.
Yeah, it's paper, I think so. We had to write them out.
The flag in the in the case was actually given to us by one of our listeners who served in Afghanistan, and they flew that flag on our behalf, which I thought was amazing for them to do that. Up in this corner, which is a bit harder to see, is a picture of Max.
And his duck.
And this was his... that was his one of his stuffed toys, his mallard. And the few days after he passed, after we had to have him put down, I had come into the studio and found that in here. He had left it in here right before he died. So I put that up there along with one of his toys and his picture. So that's what's up on the top shelf. I will... we can come down now. I will at some point do more talking about a lot of the things that we have in here. It was a lot of fun and a lot of money buying up a lot of stuff. I got to tell you something. I have no relationship with this company whatsoever, other than that they have a lot of my money now. Theme Park Connection. They have a great store on eBay. They're also a retail location here in... Are they in Orlando or are they...
No,
they're in Ocoee, right?
They're in
they're in
Ocoee.
Winter Garden, actually.
Oh, Winter Garden, okay.
And it's you really have to have the GPS coordinates. It's impossible to find.
Two pieces that you can see on screen. Back over here, this Disneyland shadow box. And if we cut to Kevin's shot, that is a 3D paper sculpture. Are both pieces by an artist by the name of Dave Avanzino. And I just, I saw that Fantasyland piece is one of 25 that was made, and I got the 25th one when I was at one of the previews for Fantasyland. And the shadow box stuff, I just love. something I'm drawn to. And
You gave us a beautiful one after one Disneyland trip.
yeah,
Us too.
yeah,
I love it.
and it turns out Dave has been watching the show and made a comment on one of our YouTube videos that he was really proud to see one of his pieces there in the back. So that was really, really cool. So yeah, we've got a lot. There's actually a lot of stuff here with some cool stories, and we will in future episodes do something with that. But we appreciate the question. Thank you very much,
Sean and a friend of ours, we were in Theme Park Connection last weekend, and I was lucky enough to find the poster for the second Festival of the Masters event. It was called Art in the Village from 1976. An original poster in awesome shape, and I paid $20 for it.
So they do have a storefront in Winter Garden.
They do. It's in an industrial park far off the beaten path. It's once you've been there, you can get there again, but it's difficult to find the first time.
Okay.
And don't think Macy's kind of retail. This is more like big warehouse with a bunch of stuff in it.
Sounds interesting.
Recently, I bought one of the benches that was used in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. It was an
Dead
actual movie
props.
prop.
Wow. Yeah, they have some great stuff.
Before we move on, we've gotten a few questions about the Haunted Mansion stained glass hanging things behind
Yes,
Julie.
hanging
So
behind Julie.
I just want to tell them you got those.
They're not stained glass though.
They're not stained glass technically. No, they are glass, and they are obviously the
Stretching room portraits.
stretch portraits from the Haunted Mansion. These I found on eBay, and there were a couple of them out there, but apparently these were sold at an event in Disneyland some years ago, and I thought they were really intriguing and different, and so I bought them. But that's yeah, you can find those. You can find those on eBay. I know that I think there were 2 or 3 of them up on eBay for auction when I bought that one, and it came in great condition, really cool box. It was some special event, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but there was a special event in Disneyland a few years ago where they were selling those limited edition, and I just I look for the things that appeal to me. If you go to Walter's Shot, you can see the telephone sign that was from Hollywood Studios or MGM Studios. And that wall has a lot of MGM Studio stuff. The original Eyes and Ears, you can't see in the shot.
Yeah.
But the newsletter down underneath the telephone sign.
Maybe what we could do is you're looking for segments to end the news rapid fire portion. Maybe we could pull a piece off.
That's not a bad idea.
Talk about it. We just pulled a piece off back here, and Kevin had some fantastic trivia about it. So maybe that's something we can do.
There you go.
See if it sparks a
And
conversation.
as my microphone is,
give it up.
I'm going limp.
There you go.
Sounds like we might be getting some thunder also.
Oh, okay.
Look at this mic.
You want me to come fix it?
Would you come fix the mic, please?
It's eventually going to be on the floor.
Because
There must be a pill for
It's
the.
It has slowly just started.
It's beyond our control here.
This is one of those things.
well, we're live. Oh, and he has the pliers in hand.
Yikes.
Righty tighty, lefty.
I know. I went the wrong way.
It's good to know Dustin can fix limp mic.
There you go.
Thank you.
There we go. All better.
All right, so yeah, we'll definitely do more with a lot of the memorabilia that's in here. So, thank you very much for that, Leslie. As things continue to get adjusted, let's go to John.
All right. And my next email comes from Ashley Mansfield from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hi, guys. Thanks for giving me the Disney fix I need daily. I'm a DVC member, and I have a question I'm hoping you can answer. As DVC members, can we get our park tickets added to our Key to the World cards? I've been told yes and no. I even tried while on vacation, and again, I've been told different things each time. As a DVC member, is this going to be part of the all-new MyMagic Plus for members? Thank you for any help you can give. I love the show, and even got my wife listening to the show with me. First of all, I apologize that you have the typical Disney cast member experience. Ask 2 cast members, you get 2 different answers. Yes, you could have your passes added to your Key to the World card. That's for any resort you're staying on Disney property. It doesn't matter if you're booking through DVC or not. Oddly that someone would not give you the right answer about that. That seems like everyone can do it. MyMagic Plus. We don't have specific information yet about how it's going to work for annual pass holders or DVC members. FastPass Plus is going to be available to anybody who has a ticket.
Correct.
So the assumption is that MyMagic Plus will work with your DVC reservation. That's what we're being told. Again, I think we're in this sort of nebulous information pocket where Disney hasn't really released all the information yet about it. I can't imagine that Disney is going to ignore DVC members and not give them all the perks of anyone else staying on Disney property, given how much.
Yeah, they've said repeatedly that they're very conscious of the annual pass holders and the the Disney Vacation Club members. So I really wish by now that they would have released some more information about what they're doing with that, but I haven't heard it. Maybe they have, and I just missed it. But
well, I mean, we had heard that this was all going to start second week in February. So we're February, 26th now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and still nothing official has been gone out. We're still working with, there's an old dining reservation system that we're working with people who now have the MyMagic Plus, and we're trying to integrate all that together too. So
right.
We're hoping they get their act together soon.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Ashley.
Before we actually move on to Julie, I've been asked to give a correction.
Okay.
It turns out that most rental car sites are actually at the airport, so you don't have to go anywhere. You just go downstairs.
No. I mean, like, to actually get the physical car.
You're saying there's a garage.
There are some in the garage, but it's still a pain. It's still a pain. So to rent it for a few hours.
Yeah, they actually got rid of really good parking spaces to put in the rental car.
I know.
Ugh.
Send them off site.
Made me mad.
All right. Julie.
Yeah, I was just trying to do a little research on the Kingdom Keepers.
Oh, okay.
This is from Liz. I Wish for Disney. She's in Vieira, Florida. I just wanted to give a review for the Kingdom Keepers books they sell at the Disney parks and resorts. My son got one as a Christmas gift, and he is now hooked. It's a great storyline, and all the kids seem to love them. He has shared them with his friends as well. After watching the live show and mentioning in the chat section that they should be made into movies, most of your listeners have agreed. So I thought I would tell you guys about the book since I've never heard them mentioned, and maybe it would be something cool for parents to give to their children to help them with reading. We love the first video episode. Keep up all the great work. So I knew they were books. That's all I knew.
Does anybody know what these are?
Yeah, I do.
I have a... Yeah, it's a series. So apparently now this is the the sixth series of books.
By Ridley Pearson?
By Ridley Pearson. The first one is Disney After Dark, Disney at Dawn.
These are for
Disney
children.
in Shadow, Power Play, and Shell Game. And the newest series is called Dark Passage. And there are 5 Kingdom Keepers, and they have a core group of friends, and they have now uncovered a startling truth that Maleficent and the Overtakers, a.k.a. the Disney villains, are plotting a catastrophic event that could have repercussions far beyond the world of Disney.
What it is it's, I don't know if it's considered young adult or younger than that, but it's fiction. And this particular writer has worked out an agreement with Disney to use Disney characters in his pieces of fiction. So you'll see Disney characters show up, you'll see areas of theme parks show up, and it's kind of
this one takes place on board Disney Cruise Line.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
I know adults who have read it and said that while it's not great literature, keeps them connected to Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually read the first 2. Probably a couple of years ago now, and it is good for like young adults. It would definitely be something they're into. As an adult, it's really cheesy, and like the first book was surrounded by that online game, the Virtual Magic Kingdom, and that's completely gone now. So if you read it now, you have no idea unless you were around for that. But they are fun. It was
But
good.
Craig was also really big into Twilight.
Was he?
Absolutely.
He was Team Jacob.
Oh, sad.
Was?
Your team lost.
All right, thank you for that, Liz. Our final email comes to us. Well, Dustin, that's yours. So
Yeah. My email comes to us from Suzanne Courtney. She's from Dublin, Ohio. Hello, podcast team. Love your show. My kids have gotten to the age where they love to ride thrill rides. However, my favorite rides are the slow boat rides to nowhere, Mexico, Small World, etc. Could you give me some tips about where I could spend my time while they're on the various roller coasters? I found the area around Expedition Everest especially challenging to find some way to occupy my time while still being available to meet up with my family once they were off the ride. Thanks, Suze8 on the boards. Suzanne Courtney. I made a list of the roller coasters and like some good areas to occupy your time or just hang out. First of all, in the Magic Kingdom, Space Mountain, you can always hang out at the arcade if it's not that long of a line. Person waiting for you can wait in the arcade or near those tables by the Speedway.
I'm thinking ice cream at Anti-Gravity's.
or that.
Or that. And, you know, a lot of this has to do with easily meeting up with them. So we're assuming you have like cell phones or those radio things that you can easily get in touch with people.
Those newfangled radio things.
those two
Walkie-talkies.
Wow. If it's a longer wait in Tomorrowland, you could always go to Carousel of Progress as well. At Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain, shopping in Frontierland's always good. And there's, of course, I think there's some rocking chairs by the exit of Splash Mountain you can hang out at. But again, if it's a really long line, you could go on the Riverboat or Country Bears. And also at...
Makes your wait seem even longer.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to slow things down.
And over at Epcot, these are just the thrill rides again. Over at Epcot, you have Mission Space and Test Track. At Mission Space, you can always go to the Advanced Training Lab, which is their kind of arcade at the end of it. And at Test Track, you could maybe hop over to the Mexican boat ride. It's not that far away. I know she likes the boat rides.
There are margaritas over there, too.
There are margaritas, yeah. And if you really want to have a long wait at Test Track and you really want to have fun, you can always go to Universe of Energy. So it's kind of...
Yeah, that's 3 hours of your life you're never getting back.
Yeah. And then at Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror, the good thing with Hollywood Studios is there's a lot of shows, and Streetmosphere as well. So it's really good over on what is it? Sunset Boulevard. You can see Beauty and the Beast, or you could go over to Mermaid, Voyage of the Little Mermaid, or you could see the Streetmosphere there. And over at Star Tours, you could, if you don't want to ride that, you could go see Indiana Jones or the Muppets. And she mentioned Expedition Everest. There's not a lot of great places to go. I would recommend just hopping over to Dino Land. There's some cool stuff over there if you want to see the shops, or if you want to go to Dino-Rama, play some of the games, look at some of the merchandise. Or if you have a lot of time to kill, again, you could see Finding Nemo if the times matched up right. And if you don't want to do the safari or Kali River Rapids, you could go to either the Maharaja Jungle Trek or the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail. I think that's the best thing to do at Animal Kingdom if you're trying to kill some time waiting for somebody. Go through the Pangani Forest Trail or go through Maharaja Jungle Trek. Those are fantastic. But those are my tips. I don't know if you guys have any other things you like to do if you don't ride roller coasters. But
one of the things is, depending on how long the wait is, join them in line. The lines at Disney are interactive. They're cool. They're fun. They're made to be entertaining. Walk with them in line, and then when they get on the ride, just meet them at the exit.
Right. There's always the chicken exit.
Chicken exit, right?
At the end of the line.
The rides themselves are, seconds long, so it's not like you're waiting a long time for them to finish the ride. That's something we do a lot when people are in town. We don't want to go on the rides, but we hang out with them in line.
Or you do what I do, just go sit in the smoking area and chain smoke until they get back.
And tap your watch.
And if people don't want to ride and they happen to have children that are under the height requirement, sometimes they don't let you into the line. So just on John's advice there, that's a little caveat there.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Dustin. Thank you, Suzanne, for the email. That is going to do it for our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next time with another episode of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And remember, stay out of the damn lakes.